And we're recording. Can everybody see the slide? Perfect. Okay. Are we just seeing one slide or multiple slides? One or two? One or two? Okay, I have both. We're seeing one and we're seeing two, so we're just going to roll with this and just see what the heck happens. All right, so welcome to tonight's call. It's our first call in quite a while. A lot of people have been part of the 60 Day to Diamond push, so I didn't want to do any calls during that time. But here we are again. We're starting them back up. They will be every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I want to go ahead and first start welcoming the new team members in our entire organization. So from me down, we have had, I believe I counted 43 new coaches from August 1st until current. So I'm just going to run through first names only because it'll take too long to read first and last, and I'll probably butcher the name anyways. But welcome to the team: Melody, Stacy, Daniel, Kelly, Alexandra, Stephanie, Amanda, Rebecca, Jean, Lynn, Heather, Brenda, Alyssa, Charlene, Leanne, Mariana, Monique, Tim, Stacy, Veronica, Courtney, Darren, Valerie, Michael, Ellie, Stephanie, Heather, Melissa, Becca, David, Nicole, Courtney, Stephanie, Dolan, Caitlin, Alexandria, Stephanie, Samantha, Francis, Chrissy, Kimberly, Brittany, and Trish. Welcome to the team. Like I said, we had a lot of people join in the past 2 months, which is awesome because even though each of the names that I read might not be a super active business building coach, that represents a life change either through getting their Shakeology at a discount or getting a program at a discount, or a life change down the road because they feel like building a business with Beachbody. So welcome to the team, and we are so happy to have you be a part of it. I'm going to get right into our team call, and that is planning to succeed when you are busy as hell, which I think we've all been there as a team. It's been a rough month. We're getting back into school. If you're like me, you had end of fiscal year. I don't know if anybody else's fiscal year ends on September 30th, but that is always a nightmare at work. Kids are back in sports, and it can be very, very difficult to maintain and run a successful business, not just your personal business, but also your downline team. Things get shuffled around. You think you're going to get home at one time, you end up getting home at another time, and then you feel all discombobulated. Some nights you eat ice cream for dinner. Whatever, it happens. So tonight what I'm going to focus on is I'm going to give you guys the system that I used during September to manage my time, because my time in September was divided between my work, my home, and you guys, and work really put a big time divot into some plans. Some days I'd be there 8 hours a day. Some days I'd be there 12 hours a day. And then there was that week in between where I had shingles, where I was working from home for 8 hours a day. And then by the time I was done working, I'd be exhausted and I'd go to sleep. So it was definitely an interesting month, to say the least. But through it all and through a lot of planning, I was able to hit a lot of goals and stay on track in a lot of different areas. So I just want to show you guys how I did that. It all goes into what I like to call buckets. If you watched other calls, they might have been called envelopes, but I call them buckets of time. And, everyone's going to have a different number of buckets. The one bucket you're all going to have is a business bucket, a family bucket, and a personal bucket. Now, your work bucket, some of us work full time, some of us don't. So that might, that might be a soccer bucket or a dance bucket. I'm not sure what you do during your day. But for me, I have the work bucket, the family bucket, the personal bucket, and a business bucket, which goes into 2 sub buckets. So your work bucket, or this can be your miscellaneous bucket, whatever it is. For me, this is the time that I'm in the office or I'm in the car and I'm unable to do Beachbody. So when I'm at work, I'm at work. You guys might see me pop in and out of Facebook from time to time. Technically, I shouldn't be doing that. But when I'm at work, for the most part, 99%, I am at work. I'm focusing on my work tasks in order to hit my goals in the office and keep moving up in the ranks there. Family bucket is your time with your spouse, your kids, etc. I do not have children, so I know this is going to be much different for the people who do. Your family bucket is probably going to be a lot bigger than my bucket. My family time is just time with Ray. And Ray works 12 noon to 8 p.m. So by the time he gets home, it's 8:30. So that's why we have these calls at 8 o'clock. That's why I'm usually offline by 8:30, because from 8:30 to 11 o'clock, when we go to bed, that is my family time. My shower has to be done. My workout has to be done. I have to have a dinner because I want Ray to have my undivided attention during that time. So your family bucket, you know, that is undivided attention to your family, to your spouse, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, to your children. We need to be present wherever we are in order to feel balanced with this business. Okay, then there's your personal bucket. This has to be in your day somewhere, okay, because without it, we're all going to go insane. So you need some you time. Take a nice hot shower, take a bath, give yourself a facial, do some pleasure reading that's other than personal development, enjoy a glass of wine. This has to be built into your schedule. Some days you're going to get 5 minutes. Some days you're going to get 3 hours. So whatever you have during that time, use it wisely and do something that makes you happy. And then your business bucket, which is obviously Beachbody, and that breaks down into business personal and business organizational. So we're going to go ahead and look at that further breakdown now. So Beachbody personal, this is your personal business. So, you know, your business is broken down into things that you do to grow your business and things you do to help your team grow their business. So your personal business, that is your personal development. That is your workout. Those are listening to call replays. Those are attending calls. Those are doing your inviting, your emails, etc. As newer coaches, this needs to be 80% of your allotted Beachbody time. So if you have 2 hours in the day of which you can do Beachbody, roughly, what would that be? Like an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and a half-ish, should be spent on these activities. Your Beachbody organizational time is when you check into your coach groups, you check in with your challengers, you create team content for calls or to motivate your team, you organize or host team calls, and you do your team member one-on-one calls, and this is the remaining 20%. Now, for many of you guys here, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to give you a brief overview of my vision for the team, which is going to be a separate call, but just so you can kind of see where I'm going. My goal is to get us training groups that we can all just pull out from a Dropbox, and if you choose to run your own training group, you already have something to copy and paste in there every day that is proven to work. You don't have to think. You copy and you paste. It takes 3 seconds of your time. Or you just put all of your coaches into our larger training group, and I will copy and paste every day. And then you guys would just help me run the group. If there's questions that come up, you know, you would help interact with the coaches. But my goal is to make our team a team that can focus a lot more time on the things that matter in life. Being outside, enjoying ourselves, being with our families, but also run a successful business. And so I'm trying to create these systems that help us to do that in the long run. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is how I actually do this. So please, God, don't shut down again. All right, Google Calendar, here we go. All right, so this is my Google Calendar. I went ahead and kind of already preset a couple of my areas. You'll see my family bucket is in red from 8:30 to 11. It's family time. Then I have work grayed out from 6:30 to 5 p.m. I am either on my way to the office or on my way driving home. So you can see that there's these salmon colored items. This is what I've marked as personal time. So drive time is 6:30 to 7. I have an hour for lunch from 11:30 to 12:30, and then I drive home from 5 to 5:30. Remember how I said sometimes you're not going to have a lot of personal time in your day? So there are days where this calendar is completely full of stuff. Like, it is insane. And my personal time is only my drive time. So during that time, I might just put on a Taylor Swift CD and sing horrendously at the top of my lungs and go through a Starbucks drive-through and get a latte, and that is my make me happy time for the day, because that's all I got. But it's a little bit, you know, a little bit of me time. But then if I look at my day, and it's also very busy, and I know that I need to devote time to my business, especially personal development, I might, you know, put on the Joel Osteen station on Sirius on my drive into work. And right there, that's a half-hour personal development. I can cross that off my list. So your free time you have to build in. Free time should include drive times, and you're going to have to get creative with it. You don't always have to get creative, but sometimes you do. You'll also see down here that from 4:30 to 5, I say gym. So that's me either lifting or doing one of the 30-minute Beachbody programs. I put that in blue because that's business personal time. So what else can I do? When I look at this, this is where I'm at right now. This is my day. I can't do much at work. But if I had to, if let's say I'm going out to dinner with my parents and Ray's getting off work early, and I want to be present because I don't get to see my parents very much. So I am sure as hell not doing any kind of business or being on my phone when I'm with them. Let's say, for example, let's say we're having dinner with the parents on Tuesday. So we'll make that a green event. Take that off. And we'll make this be until 8 o'clock. So now I have dinner with my parents, which kind of like throws a monkey wrench in the plan, because usually, as you can see, this time is all open for me to schedule my Beachbody activities. And that's typically what I do. When I get home from work, I sit down at the computer and I just start hashing things off the to-do list. But if you get something like this in, or maybe it's a soccer game, or maybe it's dance practice, you have to look at all this other time, this drive time, these lunch breaks. You got to get creative with it. So maybe this day, my drive time will turn into my personal development, and we'll change the color of that to blue. And then my lunch hour might be broken down into 30 minutes at the gym and 30 minutes of invites. Where am I at? Save. And then 4:30 right down here, this I might have to change to check in with my team. I'll make that a dark blue. So as you can see, you have to get creative with these things, and you have to find a way to schedule it all out. If I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I don't use Google Calendar. I've tried it, and then I started getting very irritated because I always had things popping up on my phone, and then they were popping up on my Kindle, and then they were popping up on this, and then they were popping up on my laptop, which is not even an Apple product, and I'm not that good with technology, so I don't know how to make all of that stop. So it started giving me a lot of anxiety, so I decided I am much more old school paper and pen person. So let me see here. If I can bring this down, I'm going to stop my screen share. So what I did was I went out and I invested in an actual planner. This is a passion planner. If you Google passion planner, it will take you to the site. I can't remember how much it was, but it is a godsend, and I'm going to show you what. This thing is so freaking awesome. You can get it to run a calendar year, or you can get it to run like a school year. So I picked the August to August. So it makes you go down and passion plan. Like, I have a roadmap here of goals. I have how I'm going to get to them. Amanda, I have your emerald goal in there. I have backup plans. I got everything here. And when I hit a goal, I go ahead and I highlight and paint. Now, what this teaches you to do is every month you go in and you're giving your calendar. So you can see my calendar there. Now, down at the bottom here, I have my work goals. So this is everything for the office. So this is just office stuff. And then I have business goals. So run a 21-day fix group. Sundays, make sure I meal prep. And down here is where you take everything that you put on your original roadmap and you start breaking it down. What am I doing this month to hit a goal there? And then gets even better. I'm going to show you how crazy I am. When I sit there and I'm like, my planner, I'm obsessed with it. That's my planner. So as you can see, it's similar to my Google, how I had it set up, but I have work highlighted in orange. I have all my Beachbody stuff written down every day. I even write at the top what I wore that day. And then it comes down to like personal to-do lists, and then again, work to-do lists. So here's everything I have to do for work that day. But again, I bring Beachbody over here. And what I do is every Monday, when I get into my office, I sit down and my planner is completely blank. And I make my cup of coffee and I write down all of my to-do lists. And then I look at my week and I see realistically, where can I put these to-dos in the time that I physically have available? Do I have to get creative? Can I pile it all in one night and the next night go to dinner with friends or host a coach meeting or something at a local restaurant where I'm not going to be sitting here and sending out Shakeology packets? You know, you really have to look at this and figure out how it's going to work for you. And again, going back to the beginning, you need to set up your buckets and you need to be very realistic with your time. There's 24 hours in a day. And I know there are some top coaches who will say you must sacrifice sleep, but I am somebody, if I sacrifice sleep, I don't function and I get sick and then I really can't do anything. So I'm a firm believer in getting your damn sleep. So I want you guys to figure out your buckets and what they are and realistically how much time you have to work on everything. So when I figured mine all out a couple months ago, I figured out that typically I have 3 hours a day that I can work on Beachbody that allows me to get what I need done, have some time to kind of just woo-saw, you know, at the end of the day, have a great amount of time with my husband and give him one-on-one time and feel balanced. Typically, I could probably give Beachbody like 8 hours a day, but I'm not going to feel balanced. I'm not going to be at my best. I'm not going to be a good coach because I'm just going to be worn out. So 3 hours a day. That equated to 18 hours a week because I also do 3 hours Saturday morning, which is so much easier because you just pile all in. And then Sundays, I take Sundays completely off. I typically won't do any calls. If you see me posting on Facebook, it's just to post. I don't really go out with an agenda on Sundays because Facebook is kind of slow anyways. So that's my day to unplug. That's my day to do whatever I want to do and not really worry about it. So 18 hours a week, that's pretty good. That's like a part-time job. That gives me plenty of time to do everything I need to do. So if I break down my 3 hours and I do 80% on my personal business, that gives me about 2 hours and 15 minutes per day to do my business activities. So looking at that, let's easily break it down. My workout is at least 30 minutes. Well, there goes 30 minutes of that. And I personally do personal development 30 minutes a day. Oh, there goes another 30 minutes. So there's an hour right off the bat that I don't have anymore. So that gives me 1 hour and 15 minutes to focus on my core activities, my inviting, my getting into my other Facebook groups and commenting in there to make myself known in those groups so I can later friend request people. You know, sending out new coach emails or things like that. I have an hour and 15 minutes to do it. I got to look at here and figure out where do I have an hour and 15 minutes to do it. And it might be 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. And it might mean that I don't take a lunch at work. I'm on Facebook instead, getting things done. But my rule is this. You might have 3 hours a day to work on this. And some days you might get it done in an hour or 2 hours. Good, you've got an extra free hour. Go give yourself a facial, enjoy some time with your family, or choose to put more work into your business. That's up to you. My focus is always on the to-do list, the activities. I know what I have to do this week to help me hit my goals that I set for myself this month. So if I get those things done, depending on what the rest of the day looks like, I might walk away. Or if I'm on a roll and I'm on fire and I'm in the zone, I will take what I have to do tomorrow and start pulling those tasks in to what I can do right now. It's really a balance. It's a lot of figuring it out. I had this written down in a notebook, and I looked at it every single week on Sundays to figure out what time I had for my buckets every week. And I try and put it in my calendar, and there was a lot of crossing out, and there was a lot of erasing, and there was a lot of figuring out. It's taken me probably about 6 weeks to really get it to a point where I feel like I feel very good with the system that I have. And if it wasn't for this system, I don't even know what I would have done. Like this time of year, I really don't know how I would have gotten my work done, how I would have gotten Beachbody done, how I would have gotten my house cleaned at some point. So that is how I organize myself during the really, really busy times. You guys are more than welcome to ask any questions. I know that was kind of like, here you go, this is what to do. But I mean, did anything like click or make sense, or do you think you can apply any of this, or is there any area where you're kind of a little bit confused at how you can apply any of it? You guys can take yourself off mute.
No, I mean, I think I definitely want one of those planners. I am struggling with time and like getting everything done, and so I think that'll be really helpful.
Especially when you're first starting out, because you're still trying to learn what to do.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're trying to find balance, but you don't want to fall behind learning what to do.
Yeah.
I remember being there, and I was like, my husband would be like, you're spending all day, you know, on Beachbody and doing all these things. And I'm like, I know, but I'm trying to learn everything. And there were days where it would be like all day on Beachbody. But
yeah.
I assure you, it clicks. And it does get a lot easier once you start, you know, implementing systems that work for you. You might try this and it might not work for you.
Yeah.
You might work off of Post-it notes, which I also do. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's trial and error, but this is
I just need to try something.
Yeah, I have alarms set in my phone with things that it tells me what I need to do, like certain things of the day. I am a paper person. I had looked into, I don't even remember the name of it. It was a planner, but it was like $50. And I'm like, I cannot bring myself to pay $50 for a planner.
This one may have been around 50, but I will tell you right now, if you would ask me what is one thing that I would literally shed a tear over if it went missing, it would be this. Because if I don't have this, I don't function.
Yeah.
My husband and everybody at work makes fun of me because I carry around my little planner like this all the time. They're like, oh, there she goes with her planner. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, this is my child now. This is my life. I couldn't even tell you, because I don't do things electronically, what the heck I had to do that day if I don't have this with me. If I leave this at home, I'm at work like freaking out, which sounds kind of crazy, but just being honest. It was a good $50 spent. Plus, it's a tax write-off, so that's exciting. But yeah, I mean, and you don't have to get this cash calculator. I think the reason why this is so expensive is because it really gives you a system to break down your goals. If you feel good with mind mapping and things like that, which are things we're going to cover in other calls, you can easily go to Target, and all you really need to focus on when you get one of these planners is get one. I don't know if you can see this. It breaks it down by half an hour.
Okay.
So you want a planner that breaks down your day in a half hour.
Okay.
If you can do that and you can find one of those, actually now would be an awesome time to
start looking.
Yeah, start looking. But I mean, you could probably get a real cheap one for the last quarter of the year.
Yeah.
But as long as you get one that breaks down in half-hour increments, that's all you need. And like I said, in the future, we're going to be doing mind mapping calls for our business. But if either one of you would want to learn about them sooner, we could always just do a one-on-one call and I can just show you how to do it. But that's what I do. Do the buckets make sense? Do you think that's going to help you balance?
Yeah.
Good. Well, sometimes things, sometimes you say things, it's just like in the business, you say things and you're like, why don't they understand that shaking is so important? It's like, it makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to the other person because, they haven't used it yet. So I just wanted to make sure. All right, you guys. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much for logging on. Hopefully it recorded. I don't know if it did or not because what my computer's doing. But if it did, I'll have it posted as soon as it's ready to go. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.